I think on our next docket is to get some mending. So mending is another enchantment that you can apply to your tools, but it's slightly different from normal enchantments. Unlike most other enchantments, you can't put it on any of your tools. You have to have a book and apply it at an anvil. So, where would you get this book, you might ask? Well, I'm pretty sure you can, well, I don't want to say you can only get it, but you can only get it maybe from villagers. At least that's the only efficient way. I will double check that and, put a little note up at the top there to, let you know. But essentially, the only way to get mending is through trading with villagers, which means we probably need to go on a trek and borrow a villager. Luckily, I know where we could find one. Off into the wilderness there, I saw it right before I died, and when I went to gather my materials, is a village, and there's a house or like a hut thing sitting on one of those hills. We will need to block up everything that we, or at least all the villagers we can find, at least until we can help them out by fortifying their village. I don't want to load up the chunks and then have zombies come in at night and take care of the entire village. That's counterproductive. So we will probably wait till it is early day and head over to a village. Also, a little wandering bee came through, and I didn't want to lose it, so I put it in a very safe bee cage. Yeah. All the mining I've been doing, I think loaded up chunks where this little bee was hanging out, and somehow it wandered all the way over to my base here from all the way over there. And they are attracted to flowers. So I decided to bring them over here and just give them a little place to stay. Eventually, I will have a bee nest and, probably give them a good place to live over by the crops there, because they will fertilize crops. After going and visiting a flower, you see them dripping pollen there. They will kind of do a little jig over a bunch of flowers and go visiting and fertilizing crops afterward. So bees are actually super great for farms. With the amount of crops we have, we probably don't need a bee, but it'd be nice. Alright. Might be as close as we're gonna get him. And you know what? We could just give him a little spot right over here next to the sugarcane. We have ourselves a villager, and we're gonna make well, we borrowed actually a lectern. So we are going, yes, we did. So we're gonna go set this guy up probably either here if we fight with the boats too much and get tired of it, or we may send him up kind of closer to the highlands so no zombies or skeletons find him. But we're gonna work on getting a mending book trade with this guy. So we're gonna probably have to cycle through his trade profession over and over. I'll show you what that looks like. Alright, dude. Welcome to your brand new home. For the time being, let's put it right here. Plenty of space to work. Villagers are kind of temperamental, so if they don't have enough like space to work or like what? Oh, what? Surprise! If they don't have enough area to walk back away from their workstation and then back, they will often just be like, "Nah, dude, I can't trade with you for a bit." So giving them this much space, hopefully, will do enough. And you know what? We need one last thing. In order to keep him from making a break every single time I change his workstation, we're gonna do trapdoors. Okay. Moment of truth. Will he... Okay. Oh, I was afraid of that. I was afraid he would, like, pop into a wall and then suffocate to death. So, dude, perfectly good lectern right there. Have I got like a nitwit? Oh no, I would be so annoyed if I got a nitwit. Unreal. Oh boy, okay, well, that sucks. I guess we go again. Oh, I did get a nitwit. Get out of here. Ah, man. Oh, man. Okay, here we go. We already have the path made at least, so that's... it gets easier from here. No! Oh! If villagers can, they will find a way to be unendingly obnoxious. Oh! Like I said! Guys. Alright. Several tries, and we got them. At least this pathway is a little bit shorter. So after chasing this guy down a little bit, I decided to farm up a little bit more XP and materials and made my way back to the enchantment table. On top of that, I ended up grabbing some mending books, and with enough XP, I was able to go and enchant and slap mending on most of my stuff. So let's take a quick look over there. What we get here. Fortune 3. And that's not bad. That's not bad. Let's see. Not as good as this one, but that's a Fortune 3 diamond pickaxe. That'll set us. That sets us off really well. It'll be nice to be back in diamond. 15 diamonds left. Can I make a tool? Cover me with diamonds. So here is what good armor looks like. We are fully decked out in our diamond gear. You'll see at the bottom left above our health bar is the toughness of our armor. So that's how much damage it wants to negate or will, have a percent chance of negating. And diamond maxes that out. On top of that, we've also got a boatload of really desirable enchantments. Among some of the ones that you probably want to aim for are respiration, which I have here, which lets you breathe underwater for a longer period of time. Another one is aqua affinity, which makes it so that you break blocks and work underwater just faster. Down here, it becomes a lot more simple. Here you just want protection. Protection 4 is the top tier, and I honestly would recommend having the blanket protection on your chest piece, which gives you the most toughness. Down here, it gives a little bit less toughness, but it's still a larger chunk, so if you want, you can swap it to a different projectile protection, or fire protection and blast protection are the 3 alternatives. But down here, I've got protection 4 as well. Let's see, I think I only have fire protection on here. But having protection 4 on at least 3 of your armor pieces is really strong. Down here, what you see is depth strider. So that makes it so that you move across water really quickly. You also resist the flow of a current a lot better than you would without depth strider. And that maxes out at 3. The other enchantment I don't have on here is feather falling, which is different from a potion of slow falling. What feather falling does, the enchantment makes it so that you take less damage depending on the level from falling. And that one maxes out at 3. Other than those enchantments, getting your protections in and unbreaking is the best way to make sure that these things last until you can get mending on them. If you have unbreaking and mending, you almost will never break diamond armor. This will last you pretty much either until you die and lose it, or until you delete the world. Over here, we put a bunch of good enchantments on our sword and our tools. And all of our tools are now actually shiny. So, moving up in the world. Last thing I want to make sure that I cover is just the basics of trading. Here you'll see we've got our villager very secure in his dirt hut. What I've done here is I've got iron trapdoors and just a couple levers there to open it up there, and I can just access him here and trade with him. So what you'll do is you'll put the item that he desires in this column here, and if he wants a second item, like a book for the mending enchantments, you'll put it in the second box here. Now, what you see here is the villager's level and their profession. So what you do is you get experience for them by trading with them. I don't have anything to, show you, but when you do a trade, he'll make a happy sound and his bar will start to fill up. Once he levels up, you'll get more options, and usually they get better and better. A final little explanation. These guys don't usually give you mending off the first attempt. So what you often will have to come in and do is break their job site. Depending on the day, if it's time for them to work, they'll instantly lose their job profession. And then what you do is you place it back down, wait for him to say, oh yeah, that's my workstation. And then he'll start to look like this. Put on the garb of a librarian, and then you check and see what he's got. If, say, he doesn't have this mending book, or say a good enchantment you want, you just rinse and repeat. Wait for him to go back to normal clothes, put the lectern down, he'll take back the job, and check. What you'll want to do after that is just do one trade. Either of these first level trades will do, and that will lock in his profession. That you see how he hasn't changed his profession for me? That's because he's locked in as a librarian. Villagers can be a bit of a nightmare, so, if you end up locking them away like this, it's really for their own safety. But I wanted to make sure I imparted you with a little bit of knowledge and know-how onto trading so that you can go out, get your own little villager librarian, and get your mending books and get your armor so that it lasts. This mending book also goes on, let's see, tools, weapons, and even your shield. So just about anything that's enchantable, mending will go on. So it's maybe one of your top tier enchantment books. Hence why we did all the trouble of going out and getting a villager twice. Well, I think that is all the stuff you need to know. We've gotten really far. Hopefully at this point you have diamonds, plenty of diamond tools, armor, and some XP, and maybe some enchantments. But in the meantime, thank you for watching. I greatly appreciate it. If you feel this video deserved it, leave a like. Consider subscribing. And until next time, happy mining, happy crafting.